I'm TheNightmareDuke and welcome to another Fallout 76 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at some power armors, specifically the T series. Going to be doing a bit of a showcase for them and throwing them into a test to see particularly which one comes out on top in combat situations, but there's also many other situations that another one might perform a little bit better, so we're going to be taking a look at that. It'll be the T45, the T51B, the T60, and we're going to be throwing in the T65 as well. Hopefully you enjoy. If you do, then hey, consider liking and subscribing, but let's just get straight into things. Now, just a few things first before we test all of these power armors out. Firstly, the build will be the same for each test. All the power armors will be their highest level, as well as non-legendary, and if they do have legendary versions, it'll just be something like Cloaking, which of course does absolutely nothing to the resistance. That's just a stealth field, but we're not going in for any melee tests, so that won't have any relevance on any of the tests at all. I think the T65 is full Cloaking, yep. So that's that out of the way. The build itself, there won't be any RNG stuff, which will help with survivability, so nothing like Nerd Rage, no blocker stuff, no fireproof stuff, no, what's the one? Yeah, Ricochet, no Serendipity, of course, because we're not in power armor. And legendary, there's no stuff like, what is it, electric absorption or anything like that. So it'll be as even across the board as possible for testing purposes, like I did for the previous one. And then, of course, we're going to be staying in bloodied range. We'll be doing the same health for each one. Probably won't be 97, or probably a little bit less, around 70. And, of course, we are mutated, so Scaly Skin will give us plus 50 for energy and damage resistance, but that'll be for each one. So, again, it'll be the same mutations across the board as well. So, just a standardized set of build for testing each of these power armors. So, let's just get straight into the actual testing and showcase. And first up, we have our T45 set. And we're over at West Tech with our T45 to kick things off with. And this is where we'll be doing our testing with our super helpful super mutant buddy over there. Now, of course, like I've said in the previous testing videos, it gets to a point where the resistances hit sort of diminishing returns, and you don't really get as beneficial results going super high as you'd think. But for our T45, we do have, let's see, 470, 470, and 420. So just for a quick kind of radiation test, generally as long as you're in power armor, you're fine when it comes to rads, but for toxic goo we're sitting at 40 rads damage there. So that's the radiation for the T45 when you're doing it for sort of ingesting sources, and of course we're sitting at those values, so we'll see how many shots we can survive here. And we are at a 77, and that's where we'll be staying for the other ones as well. So let's just see. Wanna shoot me, buddy? Nope. Really? Hello? I'm trying to do some testing, man. Shoot.
Only one of us survived this. It not be you.
Well, at this rate, it will be. Okay, so we're back. That first super mutant refused to help us out. I don't know if they just ran out of bullets or they just did not want to help us out at all, but I have found another one that is willing to actually shoot us. So I'll just heal up fully here, let the stim pack wear off, and then get this testing underway. Of course, we'll still be at 77 health, still in the T45, and let's see how this super mutant can help us out. So let's go find them. Of course, they don't have great aim, but I will count how many shots we actually survived that actually hit us. And then we'll just repeat this for the other ones as well. So I'll just check that on the footage itself, and then move on to the T51B. And next up, of course, is a full set of T51B. So if I'm correct, that was 18 shots that hit us, I think. Now, of course, we're in the T51B, still at 77 health, of course, and now the stats for T51B is 564, 564, and 370. So, got a bit more in terms of the ballistic and energy resistance, but of course less for the radiation resistance. No, buddy, don't start shooting yet. So, for toxic goo here, we're sitting at 42, so that's what that equates to in terms of the rad resistance. On the T45, it was 40. On the T51B, it is 42. So again, diminishing returns, not much difference. But let's just see how many bullets we can tank in the T-51B. No, don't start shooting yet. Doggo, you gotta go. We'll just let that stim pack wear off and then go meet our buddy. No, shooting, really. And then, of course, I'll count the shots again. Okay, seen us? No, not yet, not yet. Save your ammo, save your ammo. Okay, let's go. Come on, you gotta hit your shots. There we go. No grenades or anything. Just bullets. Well, I suppose energy cells. Come on. Nice, cool. So I'll count that, of course, in the footage, and we'll move on to the T60. And, of course, next up is going to be the T60 set. So for the T51B, it was 20 shots. I will double check that, and I will be doing these a few times just to get a bit of an average. But of course I won't include that in the footage, otherwise it just gets too boring and just goes on for way too long. But 20 shots there for the T51B, so 2 more than the T45. Of course, the T60 now, we are at 510, 480, and 475. So a bit of a mixture there between the other two T51B and T45. Of course, still at 77 health. And then over to the radiation, so 38. So this one does perform the best when it comes to the radiation. Of course, we still have the T65 coming up, but let's just see how many shots we can tank with the T60 set. No. I'll count that as 1 so far, since he's right here. No, don't bring in rocket launcher buddy. Yeah, I got you, mad. Come on. Okay, I'll have to check that footage to make sure Mr. Rocket Man up top didn't help out his buddy. I don't think we got any damage from that rocket shot, and I'll be back with the T65, of course. And lastly, we have the T65 set of power armor. So for the T60, it also appeared to be 20 shots. So again, similar to T51B, 20 shots. Again, like I said, the diminishing averages, it really starts to kick in, and there isn't really that big of a difference when it comes to it, and much less of a difference than people actually realize. So of course, we got our T65 now. Of course, the highest resistances in the game when it comes to power armor. So we're sitting at 600. Really? You've already shot me? Oh, let me just put this back. So we're sitting at 675 for the normal damage resistance, then 580 for the energy, and 530 for radiation. And then, of course, toxic goo, we're down to 37. So 1 better than the T60, which, of course, has quite a bit less radiation resistance than this one. So again, those diminishing returns really do start showing. Of course, still at 77 health. So yeah, let's go see how many shots we can survive with the T65. And of course, like I said, I'll be doing a couple of these just to get a nice average out, in case, you know, he decides to completely crit shot us in the head every single time. But let's just see if we are full health here. We are. So let's just see. No, Rocket Man, I swear. Don't fall in the tank. I kind of need you right now. Come on. A little bit more. There you go. And flop. Nice. So I'll see how many shots that was, and we'll be right back. And for the T65, it was 21 shots. Now, of course, I'm going to do a couple of runs with them just to get some averages and just to see the variations. Of course, T45, there was 18 shots, I think, and then T65, 21 shots. So again, from T45 all the way up to T65, which has like the highest resistances in the game, it's only a 3-shot difference. And again, with averages, sometimes you survive 1 less, sometimes you survive 1 more. So again, the diminishing returns, anything above, I think, like 300, you really start noticing very, very little actual difference. You start maybe noticing it in other ways, which I'll get into now. So some other considerations, of course, is, radiation damage. As you can see, T65, of course, performing the best there. But again, all the way from the worst to the best, that was like a 4 radiation difference, basically. But then it also comes down to how easy is it to actually obtain these pieces. How much is it to craft them? How much is it to repair them? Those are the other considerations that you've got to take into account. T45, for example, very, very easy to find because a lot of the legendary enemies now either drop Raider Power Armor or they drop T45 pieces the majority of the time. Of course, T65 armor, on the other hand, you have to grind out gold bullion to be able to purchase it for, from rigs. And then, of course, the mods also cost gold bullion, so it tends to be a bit of a more endgame armor, even though Minerva does, or I think she has sold it in the past and probably will sell it again in the future. But again, it's still more of an in-game activity and armor since you have to get the gold bullion, so you have to do certain things to actually get it. The T45, T51B, and T60 as well, pretty hard to get the plans, so you have to generally farm in the open world to see if you can find the spawns of them at the correct, high level, like level 45 or level 50, and then piece it together like that. Of course, the repair costs differ as well. Some are much more expensive to repair than other pieces. I think the T60 generally is a lot cheaper to repair than something like the T51B. So that's another consideration to take in. But yeah, in general, actual combat performance, which was the main point that I was doing the video for, pretty much you're good to go with whatever one you want, whichever one you find the looks of the best to you. And whichever one you just have on hand, especially when it comes to the legendary pieces, because when you're chucking together a full build, legendary pieces, it improves even more so, and you can tank and survive a hell of a lot more as well. In terms of the plans for the different armor pieces, I have done a couple of videos now. The treasure hunter video you can check out. You can get these plans to potentially drop as rare rewards from that. The daily ops video I just did, if you go into daily ops underleveled, you do have a chance of getting the Raider and the T-series of power armor plans to drop for you depending on your level. Of course, T65 you have to buy the plans with gold bullion, but there's very little ways to actually get the plans in the game, so they generally are quite rare plans, especially the T60, which generally only drops from something like Distant Thunder. But we'll just wrap things up. But there you have it, folks, just a bit of a roundup and comparison between the T-series of power armor if you're interested, or if you're using a particular set and were wondering about the others. So hopefully that information did help you out in some way or some form. Like I said, you can check out those other videos I did as well if you want to learn about the plans and that sort of stuff. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, then hey, definitely consider liking and subscribing. As always, I'll have more content coming your way real soon. Of course, we got the new season dropping hopefully pretty soon next month. But yeah, for now, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.